Connor, thanks. Time now at 6:46. Looking ahead tomorrow, talks are set to take place with U.S. and Iranian officials in Oman regarding Iran's nuclear program. It comes as amid a rise in tensions between the two countries in aftermath of those massive protests that killed thousands in that nation. Scripps News Group's Joe St. George live with us this morning. So, Joe, what could come out of these talks? What are the White House folks hoping for?
Well, it's another morning, Blaine, in which we're talking about another region of the world, right? One week it's Venezuela, Greenland the next. Now it's very much the Middle East and Iran, and escalating tensions in recent weeks between the U.S. and Iranian leaders. There doesn't seem to be much optimism ahead of these talks for a potential deal with Iran. The Secretary of State said as much yesterday. But here's why this matters. Remember, as you said, these talks are happening just weeks after deadly protests in Iran. Difficult to get exact numbers, but human rights groups have estimating the number of protesters killed to be in the thousands, perhaps north of 6,000. At one point on social media, President Trump said that help was on its way. Many people interpreted that as possible military action, given Hampton Roads military community, the Navy. There's no doubt families in our region that's paying attention closely to all of this. The President, the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, they've talked about the number of military aircraft carriers and the like that have been positioned in the Middle East in recent days and weeks. Any military expert will tell you usually that is a precursor to a potential military strike or intervention. The Ayatollah, the supreme leader in Iran, with a stark warning to the U.S., saying that if there would be a war, if the U.S. would strike Iran, essentially, that there would be a regional war. Iran basically forecasting that they would retaliate against Middle Eastern countries in the event of a U.S. potential strike. High stakes, to say the least. Secretary of State Marco Rubio laid all of this out yesterday. Take a listen.
I think in order for talks to actually lead to something meaningful, they will have to include certain things. And that includes the range of their ballistic missiles. That includes their sponsorship of terrorist organizations across the region. That includes the nuclear program, and that includes the treatment of their own people. We prefer to meet and talk. I'm not sure you can reach a deal with these guys, but we're going to try to find out. We don't see there's any harm.
I'm not sure we can reach a deal with these guys, but going to continue to be talking. Again, the Secretary of State not sounding real optimistic there, but we'll be watching this, guys, ever so closely. Obviously, with the military buildup in the region, we've seen this in the past. That's usually a precursor, harbinger, if you will, of potential military intervention. So one of the big stories we'll be watching in the next 24 hours.
Exclusive insight from our Joe St. George live for us this morning. Thank you so much.